Welcome. We're back. Another day in the market. How's everybody doing? Sorry for the late stream today. Also, the final stream of the week. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about, just first off, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the altcoin trades, which should take like 5 minutes. Then we're going to be talking about the overall stock market, which should take another 5 minutes. Then we're probably going to be talking about Clover, Microvast, Fisker. Probably talk about Wish and SOFI as well, which did not do too well after earnings. So let me make sure I get those on my watch list. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Just taking a look at the chat for a second here. Yep, Clover did hit 10 in the pre-market, kind of fell partially off of that, but still had a very good day after earnings yesterday. And what else we got? Did I miss anything in the chat? All right, so let's just start off with Bitcoin while people are hopping into the stream. Then we're gonna, talk about everything else. For Bitcoin, a little bit of a pullback today, back under the 200-day moving average. You can't complain if Bitcoin pulls back for a little bit. I've been super bullish on Bitcoin since we talked about it, literally on this day, July 21st, with the bullish engulfing candle and the falling wedge at the ice line, and putting a crazy run. Now it's pulling back a little bit. We go over to lower time frames like the 4-hour. It's looking all right. It's not the end of the world. I still think anything above 41K on Bitcoin is fine. It does have room to back test that, but it's just kind of doing whatever for right now. Not too much of a change there. Drizzy, thank you for the $5 super chat. Let's get some vibes in the chat for Drizzy kicking off the stream with the tip. Thank you very, very much. And Drizzy said, like the video, and then shouting out the CLOV ticker, which we will talk about in 10 minutes or so. Appreciate that. So let's see. Let's talk about, I'm just going to literally say how much the crypto trades are up, and then we're going to talk about the market. The Atom trade already hit the first target. It's up 40% since the entry. The Chainlink trade is up about 70% since the entry. It hit the second target today, I believe. So a 73% gain on this trade idea that I put out about a few weeks ago. Moving on, we got NU, another crypto trade, which is currently up 25%. And then finally, just to finish off with these, the FIL crypto trade is up about 24% since the entry. So across the board, really good price action on the crypto trades. Now we're going to be talking about the stock market. After I cover the market, we'll talk about Clover, Microvast, Fisker, SoFi, Wish. I'll take a look at the chat. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the stream. I don't know if Tar Heel is watching right now, but thank you, Tar Heel, for all the shout outs you've been giving me on your stream. A ton of new subscribers this week. Really appreciate it. So yeah, let me just give my thoughts on the overall market. It's weird, we're kind of just still on autopilot. If we look at the S&P 500, another close at all-time highs, which is kind of like what it's been doing normally now. I was talking about this triple classic bearish divergence. It's really not doing much. So, with all the technicals and everything like that, for right now, I really think the market is just going to continue to go higher until there is some sort of a catalyst. Right now, the buyers are still there. It's not going to be like this forever, but from a technical standpoint, we have seen bearish technicals really not work out for a couple weeks now, especially for the S&P 500. So I really think we might need some sort of a catalyst for the market to kind of turn around. Until then, the trend is your friend, in my opinion. Of course, we can get more bearish divergence or another bearish pattern or whatever it is, but right now, that's just kind of how I'm looking at the market. I'm not saying I'm like super bullish in the short term, but I'm not like a bear or anything. I'm just I'm taking every day for what it is. I'm very, very open-minded for the overall market. And I think we're just kind of entering a stock pickers market as well for a little bit. It's just not the best time to be using technicals on indices. We've had a lot of good calls this year using technicals on the S&P and the NASDAQ. I've called 3 or 4 different local bottoms, like the one I did on March 5th, which was probably the most important one. But right now, it's just, there's times where things work better and times where they just don't. So for right now, I'm not really too focused on that, but the NASDAQ was up 1/3%. The Russell 2000 was down, but still, it's just very, very choppy for, the last few days, just kind of going sideways. The ARK ETF, pretty interesting here, closed right under the 200-day moving average, but in a little bit of an ascending channel right over there. For all the people who trade mid caps and growth stocks, this could be pretty interesting. I don't know which way it's going to break to, but if you do trade retail names and mid caps and growth, this is probably one of the most important takers for you to be looking at, just to get a kind of idea of how the whole entire sector is doing. Of course, it's not perfect. It's an ETF, but that's what I kind of use. And then just to finish off with the overall market coverage, really not too much else of a change. Give me 1 second here. All right, so not too much of a change. If we take a look at the VIX, it was down a couple percent today. Actually broke back under this support that it held for most of July, which I guess is good, you know, with the S&P going higher. For the dollar, still also going higher. It really just depends right now. In my opinion, I think at some point we're going to get some sort of a catalyst, but for right now, things are just kind of floating along. You know, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Overnight futures are also relatively flat. It's not an easy time to be kind of trying to read the market with technicals. I'm just letting the market do what it wants to do, and I'll just react to whatever it is while I continue to manage my risk. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, for the market coverage, pretty simple today. It was kind of a boring day, especially in the morning and the beginning part of the afternoon. We did get some nice price action in the power hour, but then after hours for a lot of names was just not good. You know, a lot of companies did not do well on earnings, and I think a lot of other similar stocks kind of fell with that. So, you know, we're going to talk about everything. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 30 likes right now. If you're not subscribed to the stream, and if you want technical analysis and just my thoughts on the market every single weeknight, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate all the support lately. And just for people who are newer to the stream, I'm going to be live tonight for probably another hour. And then I'll be live again, I think, on Sunday night to next Thursday. So pretty much Sunday to Thursday, I'll be live at 9 p.m. EST. Today, I'm just a little bit late. But yeah, we're going to talk about Clover here in a second. Let me just take a look at the chat before we do. A lot of short volume on Clover today. I saw on the Ortex data that the short interest at one point was up like 12% in one day, which is crazy. We're going to talk about everything Clover. Let me just read the chat for a second here. I'll probably spend 10-15 minutes on Clover in a second. What do we see? Yeah, definitely. I'm going to mod Medi right now in the chat. Good call. Tar Heel Blue with the $10 super chat, sending it, I guess, back over. We're just exchanging super chats now. Let me just mod Medi. Thank you, Tar Heel. I've been watching all your streams. I'm sure there's a lot of other people in the chat right now that have been watching Tar Heel streams. We did one on Monday, which was great. You've been crushing it. I mean, this whole entire year, I've seen a lot of streamers kind of try and grow an audience, but what you've done in like the past month is just insane. So congrats. I mean, you know, you're probably averaging like 300 viewers now. It's crazy, especially for your channel, which is so new, and you have, I don't know, like 1,300 subs. You really strong following. So shout out to the whole entire Clover army and everything you're doing, Tar Heel. Appreciate the tip. Let's get some vibes in the chat for Tar Heel Blue. Go check out his channel if you haven't already. But if you know about Clover, you probably know about his channel. Drizzy says, thank you for the continuous info. You got it. Going to talk a little bit more in a second here. I just want to read everything in the chat before I do a deep dive on Clover from today. Alfredo says, what's the premium subscription get you? I don't really like talking about it much on the stream. I just don't want the stream to be orientated around that. Just the easiest way to summarize it, if you want education on how I read charts and you want to get an in-depth look at my thoughts and how I find trades, how I take my trades, how I exit my trades, that's mainly what it is. I share a weekly watch list. I share swing trade ideas. I share option ideas. We got a 30% profit on Clover options today. Like literally at the low of the day, I shared Clover options ideas in the group, and by the time it went back up to like 9:30ish around, I think power hour, the options were up like 30%. So just a bunch of stuff. Like it's really where I, you know, kind of message most frequently throughout the day when I'm day trading, and just, it's the best place for you to get my thoughts if that's what you want. It's not for everybody. I'm not going to sit here and chill it for the next half an hour. That's really it. The link's in the description if you ever want it. Just going to kind of move on from that. I don't like talking about it on the stream. And also Medi says, way more alerts, options, day trades, education, always responds to requests. Yep. And so on. Did I miss anything? Oh, I missed a lot in the chat. Sorry, I have like OCD with the chat. I don't like missing stuff in the chat. So I'm just going to quickly read it. You know, we're going to be here for a minute. I'll be talking about everything. August seasonality is definitely real. Tar Heel says, definitely chilling and enjoying the TA. Pet ZG on the head for me. Yeah. Appreciate it, Tar Heel. We'll see what tomorrow brings for Clover for sure. Wish, we're going to talk about Wish in a little bit as well. A lot of messages about Tar Heel in the chat. Shout out to Tar Heel. Do a full day stream Tar Heel tomorrow. I'm honestly surprised on how he did that. I think it was yesterday. That was crazy for sure. And yeah, I think that's the most of it. Mr. J Long says premium is legit. Appreciate the testimonial. All right, let's talk about Clover now And yeah, if you're not in the Discord, Braden, just drop the link in the chat, join the Discord for literally everything. Trade alerts, stream alerts, analyst alerts, 2,000 traders for you to meet, education, all that. Let's talk about Clover finally, okay? Great day today. I woke up, it was up 20-something% in the pre-market after earnings yesterday, which I didn't even talk about. I was not live last night. So let's just start from earnings yesterday. So on earnings, I think the biggest thing was the revenue beat. Really, really good revenue numbers. I think it was around 400 million or something, which just crushed Q1. So that was amazing. A lot of other stuff like the direct contracting as well was good. I didn't look too much into it. I was really, really busy yesterday. So I was mainly just looking at the price action, but after hours on earnings, I think it went up to about $9.20 at the highs, and then it closed after hours, I think around $9. And then today I woke up in the morning and Clover was right above 10, like right when I woke up, and then it just started falling and falling and falling. And I think the low of the day was 8.58. So pretty much went from $8 at the close yesterday to $10 in the pre-market today, back down to 8.58 to close at 9. So kind of all over the place, a lot of volatility, but a lot of things happened from a technical standpoint as well. They also had the conference today, the something bank or something conference. I thought it was really good. I was watching it through Tar Heel stream. Andrew Toy just sounds so smart. If anybody else heard the call, and yeah, it was good. I mean, from a fundamental standpoint, I think earnings was pretty good. You know, there definitely were a little bit of things that were interesting, such as the gap on the loss, but it is what it is, especially for a newer company. I just think, you know, as long as they can continue to expand, that's the biggest thing there. So price reacted well, pretty well for sure. So close the day up about 11%. Let's talk about where the chart is now. We're gonna do a chart breakdown first. So I'm gonna go over to Tradedics and we're gonna talk about the options chain and everything. So yeah, let's take a look at the chart. We did gap up today, so there is a gap to fill currently at around $8.43. I'm not too worried about the gap fill. Anything is possible. The gap can be filled. It's not really a breakaway gap at this point because of how low we went, but typically the larger the gap, the longer it takes to fill. For an example, when we had that gap up from $12 to $16, it kind of only filled, actually it filled, let's see, within probably about 2 or 3 weeks is how long it took for that gap to fill. And that was a much larger gap than what we got today. So that definitely is something to keep an eye on. But the most important thing to me is today was pretty much the second day since July 21st that we got a close above 850. Now, if we look into this whole entire range over here on Clover, it was really between 790 and 850 for about 2 weeks. You know, it was just very, very tight. The IV was pretty low, which is what we talked about. You know, right over here, I made that video about the historical IV and how low it was and how I was looking for a move, which obviously got timed very, very well with earnings. And yeah, we've kind of been all over the place. Even on Monday, we had a good day, which was right over here. Then we had a bad day on Tuesday. We had a roughly red day on Wednesday before the earnings, and then everything that happened overnight. So, you know, just looking at the candles, I'm not too worried about the gap. Even if it does fill the gap, I still think anything above 785 is fine for Clover, of course. It was at 10, so I would be surprised if it goes from $10 to $7.85 this week. But anything is possible for sure. Let's go over to the 4-hour chart right now. The Adam and Eve double bottom. I shared this on Twitter, I think on Tuesday, and you're starting to really see the second part of the bottom take off. Of course, earnings helped, but if you've been watching my streams for a while, you know the thing I love the most is when technicals and fundamentals or catalysts line up. That's pretty much made for the best trades this year. If anybody remembers the FSR trade in January, the QS trade, the original Clover trade, well, there was multiple original Clover trades. So good stuff right there. And yeah, and all this is happening after the pattern completion zone of the bullish crab pattern, and that was pretty much your low of this whole entire downtrend. Same exact harmonic, this bullish crab I just showed you, was the pattern that led to your exact all-time lows when I put out the alert on March 5th. So it's just, there's so many things going on the chart, and it's just truly amazing to me. I mean, for everybody who's been watching my streams since last October, you know I've never spent this much time on one stock apart from FSR back in the day. So I guess there is a reason for me talking about Clover so much. I do believe in it, not only fundamentally, but there's just so much to work with on this chart. You know, I would just say it's like This thing went from the mid $6 range to 28 back down to 8. And you're telling me there's not going to be any sort of a common retrace if we just zoom out. There's no certainty. I never like being a moon boy like that and saying that there's certainty. But if you just look at probability, especially with the good earnings and the options chain and the failure to delivers and the short interest, it's like a storm in my opinion. It's a storm brewing. I've only had this type of conviction maybe once or twice since I started trading, which was on FSR originally, and then the QS trade in February, which was my biggest trade ever personally. So I know for people who've been around for a while, I might sound crazy right now. Like I probably did sound crazy talking about FSR last fall. But that's just how I feel sometimes when I see so many things. It's like I'm a nerd about the technicals, but also when you have other things lining up, it's really interesting to me. But yeah, moving back over to finish off the technical talk, hidden bullish divergence is still not even developing, but it's still continuing on the daily. And we obviously broke out that wedge, which we talked about weeks ago. So really, just looking at the levels for Clover, $10 is probably your closest and biggest resistance, not only just from like a historical standpoint, because it used to be your support when this was IPOC. $10 is also a very, very, very big area where market makers are going to want to keep it under, because we're going to look at the Tradedics open interest. It's pretty wild for the $10 strike, especially for August 20th. I'm not too sure about how it looks for tomorrow, especially with how it kind of closed around 9, but $10 is the first big level. I assume that if we test it, there will be. I didn't even look at the walls this morning. I was just getting out of bed when it was around $10. But I do assume that if we get back up to $10, there will be some sort of a large sell wall there. We saw sell walls all throughout the day. Every time we were trying to test the resistance, a sell wall would pop up and then kind of disappear. I don't look at level 2 that much because I'm not really too concerned about like what's happening every second. I'm more concerned about like the larger picture. But it is pretty interesting to see that. And then yeah, in terms of supports, just off the top of my head, $8.50 used to be a resistance for 2 weeks. That was around your support today. That was around the low of the day. If you break 850, then you just got 8. 8 was also your other support for the last 2 weeks. So previous resistance can be a support, and then also obviously previous support. But even under 8, there's just so much. You have 785 after that. If we go over to the 1 hour chart, 785. Might thunder in like a second here. There's like a really, I don't know if you heard that, but really loud thunder. So there was a low right over here, 785 on July 27th, same exact low August 5th. And then finally, you also have 767. If we go over back onto the daily, that was pretty much your low of this whole entire downtrend. It was your support in June. It was your support in May. It was your resistance in April. And even if we go over to the monthly, that's where most of the monthly candles have closed and opened right around this level. You can see where the candle bodies start around that 760-ish area. So yeah, those are your closest levels. If it ever does get above 10, then you still have the 200-day moving average at $10.50. And then finally, we're going to talk about the other levels. But Vishal, thank you for the $5 tip. Let's get some more vibes in the chat. Thank you for all the tips, everybody. Vibes in the chat. Thank you very much for all the support and the tip. Really appreciate it. Yeah, after that 1057 resistance on Clover, you got a couple gap fills. You got a gap fill at 1125. You have a gap fill at 1222-ish. But probably the two biggest levels, if this thing really takes off, will be 1320 and 1744. So 1324, thunder is rudely interrupting me here. 1324 was your candle high on July 1st. It was your candle low on June 30th. Okay, let's go back in time. It was your resistance in the beginning of February before the Hindenburg report. It was your support in the middle of January. And it was your resistance at the end of last October. So 1320, in my opinion, from a technical standpoint, is the largest level on the chart. Now, if we do get some sort of a gamma squeeze or a short squeeze and this thing takes off, it could blow right over that. But if we just look at a horizontal level, 1320 is the largest level of resistance I see. After that, you got 1744, which was your previous all-time high from the beginning of January. So those are all of your levels. Those are pretty much all of your technicals. And we'll see what happens. I mean, yeah, there's just definitely a lot going on there. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 40 likes right now. If you're not subscribed, we're getting closer to 3,000 subs. Help us get there. Join the free trading movement right there. FTM, free trading movement. Hit that subscribe button. Now we're going to take a look at Tradedics for a second here. Yeah, it's a crazy storm right now in Miami. I think there might be a tropical storm this weekend, but it might be heading a little bit west of us. So I guess it's kind of starting or something right now. I think it's like in like Cuba or something right now. I don't even know where it's at, but if we take a look at this options dashboard on TradeAddicts, pretty interesting. First off, I didn't even look at this, but wow. So overall flow today, bullish, pretty much mainly calls, 0.96 call to puts with a $2 million premium. If you also take a look at the algo score, this was bearish yesterday. I was looking at this yesterday and it was bearish. It was under the 1.0 level. And this pretty much stayed above 1.0 the whole entire day, which is very interesting. I'm telling you, it was not like that yesterday. Look, at 9:30, it just shot right up the algo flow and just kind of stuck there the whole day. Apart from that, look at this. Look at the call volume just going crazy high. Look at the call versus put open interest just going crazy high. You have not seen these levels in multiple days. I can't really see further than that. Then if we go to the, like, look at all this. Look at the historical premiums. This is just miles above everything else. Every single one of these charts on TradeAddicts for the options is just kind of as bullish as it can get. Historical IV is going back up after earnings. But if you watched my stream and my video over the weekend, how good was that other look at it that I had? And then finally, this is probably the most important one. Open interest by strikes. I was talking about this earlier, but you know, the $10 level is where you might see a lot of, I don't know about resistance, but I think you're going to see a lot of volume traded around that level from both buyers and sellers. The thing with $10 is market makers probably will not want it above that, because then they're going to have to hedge by buying shares, you know, if they're selling calls and everything. So, you know, that's the type of thing that could lead to a gamma squeeze. I'm not here to try and predict everything. I'm just saying there's a possibility for it. I have no clue if something's gonna happen or not. I unfortunately cannot tell the future whether or not you can believe that, but you do have certain conditions that are just insane that I really can only compare to AMC and GameStop. So really heavy open interest on the calls at 10 and at 15 as well. So if we get above those levels, market makers might have to hedge, which means they might have to buy shares, which in turn would help to increase the price, which would bring it to the next strike price, leading to a cycle, which could be called a gamma squeeze. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, just every single reader, I don't even know, like every single chart on this whole entire options page on Clover is pretty much as good as you could get. And of course, on top of that, just to finish off with everything I'm bringing up, thank you B-Tipping for the subscription, the volume. If you've been watching my stream for weeks, I'm not just talking about Clover today because it went up 20% in the pre-market. If you've been watching my streams for weeks, the focal point has been Clover, right? And I literally put out a trade idea on Clover, which is up 10% since the entry. The entry was $8.26. Now, I just forgot what I was going to bring. Oh yeah, the volume. The main point I've been bringing up is like, yeah, the technicals have been looking bullish for weeks, but the issue with Clover right now is the volume has been really dry, and there's a lot of bag holders, at least according to Weeble's data. But it's pretty obvious why there's bag holders, because of what happened in June. So typically, when you have a float filled with bag holders and you have low volume, that's not the best conditions for the demand side of supply and demand. It's just every time you do have a good catalyst or good news and buyers do come in, what happens is the price has gone up and then right back down because the bag holders cut their losses or maybe gets shorted, who knows, but just not the optimal conditions. I'm not gonna lie, that definitely has helped me with day trading it. If you're in the premium group, I think we're like 11 for 13 on day trading call options since the highs in 28. So literally since up here on the move from 28 down to $8, I've never shorted it. I've never played puts on Clover. All I've done is play calls literally on this downtrend, and 11 out of the 13 ideas I've shared and have personally played have been winners, which means they went up over 20% since the entry before falling below 20% since the entry on calls. But about, I think it was last Friday, and again, premium members can attest for this. Last Friday I said, for the last 2 months I've been saying nonstop, like, I'm just looking to get my profit because I've been really just trading the intraday technicals on Clover, getting calls when you see a falling wedge and decreasing volume with bullish divergence, and I take my profits. I've been taking my profits because the float's just so bad. But last Friday I told the premium members in the options update channel that this time around I'm going to be taking it a little bit differently. I'm actually going to be holding for longer because I do think there could be a bigger move in play here. But again, I can be wrong. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. I'm just kind of sharing you everything that's in my head, which there's a lot in my head right now when I'm thinking about Clover. So hopefully all that kind of made sense. I know sometimes I could just go on and on and on. But yeah, you know, with the high volume, that's the type of thing that could allow float rotation, which could bring in new optimistic buyers and can take out less optimistic bag holders. So you want to see the volume hold up hopefully tomorrow and as long as possible. So I don't know how long that was, probably about 10-15 minutes, like I said. That's most of what I got for CLOV right now. I mean, there's a lot more, but I don't want to kind of drag it on too much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the chat for a little bit. Then we're going to be talking about MicroVast, which has a pretty interesting chart to me. I know I said that 2 days ago and it's dropped a lot since then, but if you watch the stream, I was literally saying it's not my type of trade. It's gone up too much. I don't like getting something after it doubles in a week. I did say that, but I also said the chart has potential. Well, the chart still has potential and the price has come back down for MicroVast. So we're going to be talking quite a bit about this one as well. But yeah, keeping that like button. Let's get to 50 likes right now. This is the final stream of the week. So show the support. Let's see if I missed anything in the chat. Looks like I missed a lot. What else we got? Jed says, new here. Thanks for talking, CLOV. Good stuff, man. Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of people in the stream right now. I did post in the Reddit and stuff and in the Discord that for Clover. But you know, if you are here because of Clover, I'm trying my best to cover Clover as much as I can. But you know, for the past year, this stream has been dedicated to just stocks in general. So I'm not going to only be talking about Clover the whole stream. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of other tickers. If you don't want to hear about all that other stuff, completely fine. Hope you have a great night. But I am trying to, you know, cover as much as I can because there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, appreciate the new subscribers. Vishal says 147 million volume, 0 shares available to short. I didn't actually see it. I haven't looked at the Fintel data today. Hoping for 10 plus tomorrow to kick off the squeeze. I hope so too, but we'll see. Cuckoo Bird, I also saw you in Tar Heel stream. Welcome back here. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat in Canadian dollars. Let's go. Yeah, Cuckoo Bird, thank you very much. Let's drop some vibes in the chat for Cuckoo Bird, dropping the tip. Also, just another reminder, I try to say as much as possible. But if you tip through YouTube super chat, they get 30% of whatever you tip. So, I mean, it's completely up to you. But I think it benefits obviously both me and both you if like you use the Streamlabs link. You could use PayPal, you could use a credit card through the Streamlabs link. It's the pinned comment in the chat always, and they don't take a dime out of whatever you pay me. It's pretty much I get 100% of the tip when you tip through Streamlabs, and I get 70% of it before taxes if you tip through YouTube Super Chat. So just reminding everybody because a lot of people didn't know that when they were tipping through YouTube Super Chat. Tar Heel says, how good is this dude? Blows my mind. Appreciate that, Tar Heel. Ecom says, charting wizard. Appreciate that as well. I don't consider myself like insanely smart, like a genius. I try and learn as much as I can, and I try and share what I have learned. Yeah, we are going to be talking about FSR, SOFI, and Wish after we talk about MicroVast. What else we got to talk about in the chat before I move on? Thomas says, how important are technicals when you have dark pool BS going on? Absolutely. And this is actually, I don't know if it was you, but somebody asked like the same exact question on Monday when I was on Tar Heel's stream. You know, with all the quote unquote manipulation and dark pool abuse, a lot of people are asking, well, why do technicals really matter if all that stuff is going on? Well, the way I look at it is with Clover, you have so much going on, right? You have the shorting, you have the dark pools, you have options, you just have regular buyers and sellers. So you have a lot of things going on. And to me, all that really matters and what kind of summarizes all of those different things that you can kind of wrap your head around, you know, the cost to borrow and all those different numbers. What summarizes all of that? The price. The price summarizes all of that. Whether it's fair or whether it's not fair, the price will tell you the exact truth. Now, the truth isn't always fair, but the price will tell you based on the buy orders and the sell orders, where does that line up? What's the mid price? That's what the price gives you. Now, every single time the price moves, you get a tick. You get a tick up, you get a tick down. And what happens is while you're getting those ticks up and down, you create candles on a chart. Now, when you create those candles on a chart, you create patterns. Why? Why do you create patterns on a chart? And why do they keep showing up? Why do they just not show up once and then you just never see that pattern again? Because humans are predictable. At the end of the day, people have been studying these candles, and by candles, I mean traders, right? For a century now. And it's pretty well known that over time, it's not too hard to kind of analyze what other people or how other people are trading a stock. So the way I kind of look at it is when you're charting, you're pretty much visually analyzing the psychology of the stock's float. You're pretty much trying to be a psychologist for the stock, right? You're looking at all the buyers and the sellers. The thunder's still really loud. You're looking at all the buyers and all the sellers of the stock, and you're seeing at the end of it all, with all the different things going on, where do we end up? And that is your price. And the patterns repeat themselves over and over and over again because humans are predictable, right? When you have a double bottom on price, why do you have a double bottom? Right? You go down to a price, you end up bouncing off of it, then you come back down to the same price. Why do you have a double bottom? Because people remember, hey, the last time that we were at this $10 level, we bounced off of it. So maybe I'm going to try and buy it over here now that we're back at this level. And then you create a double bottom. And the same thing goes for every single pattern. There's a meaning behind it if you really think about it. Thunder's kind of annoying. But that's pretty much my explanation. And a lot of that was taken from Mark Douglas, watching his lectures. That's where I've kind of learned a lot of this as well. So I definitely did loosely quote a few of his sayings as well in there. Hurricane stocks worth watching as we head into the season for sure. I'm not too sure how to compare the call volume to the last rise. I don't know if I can see a chart of the call volume on Tradedix. Maybe I can. I don't remember though. What's the max pain price? The last time I checked, I believe it was $9, which we're literally right at going into tomorrow. And also, I'm not exactly sure on how accurate the institutional ownership right now is. There's just so many numbers out there that I really personally, I don't try and wrap my head around all the different numbers. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people are very smart and a lot better at doing that than I am. Mainly, my focus is just seeing where everything ends up. After everything is over, what is the price, and how can I react to that? How can I profit off of that? And so on and so forth. And I know a lot of people don't agree with that type of trading or investing, but that's how I've been able to make money since I've started. And as I always say, I never hate on anybody else's trading style. At the end of the day, all of us are just trying to make money in the market. So if you have some sort of a method that allows you to do so, I want you to focus on that. I'm not telling you to copy me. I'm not telling you that I'm the best trader in the world. I'm not. But I'm comfortable with how I trade, and you should be comfortable with how you trade. And I can learn things from you. You can learn things from me. That's just kind of how I look at trading. Ecom says, keep up the good work, Champion Vibe. Love your streams. Taking off, but LFG, CLOV, appreciate that. Got a lot of vibes for Cuckoo. Tar Heel still in the chat. Streamlabs definitely better. YouTube. I mean, they're making money. I think the stat on that is like Google bought YouTube. I don't even remember what the purchase was. I think it was a few billion or something. Don't quote me on that. And now like YouTube makes like triple that in revenue like every quarter. It was one of the best acquisitions ever. Because they are taking pretty nice cuts off of ad revenue and tip revenue as well now. Cheddar Free says, correct, follow the price action. We've had these patterns for hundreds of years. Yep. Tim says the thunder is a sign from God, $50 tomorrow. We'll see. Thomas says, I mean, what an amazing answer to my annoying question. Thanks. No questions are, the thunder is annoying, but no questions are annoying. We're all just trying to learn more, so I'm trying to help you. And yeah, hopefully that just gave you some insight on how I think about it. All right, so I think I finally got through the chat. We still got 44 people in here. We still got a lot to talk about. So pretty much the rest of the stream, this is pretty much going to be the format. I have a few tickers I want to kind of cover apart from Clover. Pretty much most of them are ongoing trades. If you're not aware and you're new on the stream, I share trade ideas. I'm a swing trader. Surprisingly, I do not only trade Clover. So I have a whole entire sheet of trades that are currently ongoing, right? So I could pull up that sheet right now. Fortunately, it's not the best week. It's an okay week. Wish it was a little bit better. Just not the best market still. I mean, ever since the beginning of July, it's just not been the optimal conditions for a lot of the things I like to swing. But this is a current sheet. You could see there's currently 27 ongoing trades. So Clover is right over here. It is one of them. But I put out a lot of different ideas. So if you want these ideas, just follow me on Twitter at Champion Vibe or join the Discord. Links in the description. That's where you can get those ideas. As you can see, the crypto trades are kind of leading the way right now. Had one of the premium trades hit a target today. And then, you know, it's probably about like a 60-40 in terms of like the green trades and the red trades, which is not the best. But if we take a look at the percent return, we add up the percent return of all these green trades, that's 220%. If we add the percent return of all the red ones, that's 41%. So that's why I always talk about win rate is not as important as people try and make it out to be. It's all about what your reward to risk is, right? You could have a 99% win rate and make a crap load of money, but then on your 1% of trades you could lose it all because you don't know how to manage your risk and you just bag hold and whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely differences as a trader and an investor. So you just got to pick what works best for you, I guess. I'm just trying to bring that up because right now what I'm going to be doing is just going over a lot of the ongoing swing trade technicals. I'm just going to give some updates on them really quickly. Before I do so, I want to talk about MicroVast. So we're going to be talking about MicroVast, then we're going to be talking about FSR, which fell a lot today. Pretty much, it's not the end of the world because FSR kind of just went back down to where it already was before all the craziness with the price target. So we're going to talk about SOFI, which got crushed after hours. Might have brought down Clover a little bit too after hours, I think. And then we're going to talk about the rest of the trades. And then if we still have time, I'll probably get some takers from the chat in about 15 minutes after I'm done talking about these charts. So first off, let's talk about MicroVast. Now, for the past 2 weeks, a lot of people have asked me to look at MicroVast. I kind of ignored it at first because it just felt too crowded to me. You know, I was seeing it all over Twitter. I was seeing it on Wall Street Bets, and I'm not a big fan of when things are super crowded, like super quickly. So I was like, whatever. It ended up running like crazy up to 16. And then on my last stream, which was Tuesday night, I didn't stream last night. I was talking about the chart. It was like right over here on like the mid 13 level, I think. And I was saying there are bullish formations on the chart, but also on that stream, I did say I'm not going to be putting out a swing trade or anything because it's not my type of trade. I don't like chasing things after they've ran up. There are bullish technicals in play here, but just looking at the price, I mean, it already skyrocketed. I'm not trying to FOMO into it. So I did try and trading options. Did not work out yesterday coming into today because it was down again, but between yesterday and today, it's pulled back a ton. You know, since probably the last stream I did, it's probably dropped about 18-20%. And now it looks even more interesting to me. So this is going to probably be the first thing I'm going to be watching tomorrow morning, not only for a potential day trade, but for potential swing. I might put out a swing idea on it, but it depends on what the market looks like and how this is looking. But yeah, like Treadfreeze is saying in the chat, is becoming Wall Street bet stock. I think it already has been one for the past couple of weeks. That's, you know, the biggest kind of, I guess, concern here. But to be fair, it just did have the pullback. So there's a lot of things going on with this chart. So first off, if you just kind of zoom out on the daily, you have a right-angled descending broadening wedge, which is basically these 2 touches on the top at 16, and then you have 3 touches on this demand line roughly. So you do have 5 touches. It's a real pattern. It is a bullish pattern. And what could be happening right now is it could be trying to develop a partial decline. Now, partial decline is pretty much, you know, in your pattern, you go from the bottom to the top to the bottom to the top. Well, if on one of your points you hit the top and you never go all the way back down to the bottom of the pattern, that's known as a partial decline. And that pretty much gives you about a 70% probability of a breakout to the upside. I guess my playlist just finished and it's playing random music now. So that's thing number 1 that we're going to be looking at here. Thing number 2, we filled the gap today on MicroVast and it pretty much bounced off of that gap fill. Also, it made a daily hammer candle. On top of all of that, it came down roughly to this 1030-ish level, which was support in April and in May before it eventually ran up to about 15. Let's keep going. If we go over to the 1-hour chart, we have hidden bullish divergence. We also have a cup-in handle. It broke out of the handle today. I thought I was breaking out yesterday. Was a little bit of a fake out, gap down today. Kind of redrew it. Maybe I'm wrong again, but looks like a little bit of a breakout. So from a technical standpoint, we got a lot going on. I don't know why there's laughing emojis in the chat. I don't know. I might have just said something stupid. But yeah, a lot is going on for this from a technical standpoint. Much more so than what was going on the last time I talked about it, which it has dropped quite a bit since. So just wanted to cover that. Don't be surprised if you see a swing trade idea on this tomorrow. But again, if it gaps down again and it breaks the support level, or if the market is just like super ugly, then it might not. So I'm just bringing it up because it's interesting to me, and hopefully even if I don't ever put out any idea on this, or even if I do and it fails, you just learn something from it. So yeah, now we're gonna be talking about FSR and then SOFI and then Wish. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 50 likes right now if you haven't hit the like button already. Also, if you're not subscribed, we're on the way to 3,000 subs. If you're not in the Discord, the link's in the description. I'll see you there, okay? So join the Discord. Fisker. I didn't stream last night, so I couldn't really cover this, but it's been a pretty interesting week for Fisker post earnings last week, I believe. Earnings were all right, nothing too crazy, pretty much as most people probably expected. And then we got everybody's talking about the price target like it was so new, but I could have sworn that Adam Jonas gave Fisker a $90 price target back in January when we had this crazy liftoff, which was also a trade on Fisker. So I was just a little bit kind of confused. Maybe they just reiterated. I still don't know. But you got a very, very crazy gap up reaction on Tuesday with that news. And what pretty much happened then was on this swing trade idea that I put out at the highs on Tuesday, it was up 26% since the entry, and it was only 4% away from the target of the trade. And it never hit the target. And then they came out with a little bit of an offering. It's an interesting offering, but at the end of the day, it brought down the price quite a bit. And then you pretty much just dumped today. So basically, all in all, if we just go over to the weekly chart on Fisker, I mean, it's still technically up 5% on the week. It's kind of like nothing really ever happened. But a lot did happen. We did make 800% profit on call options if you're in the premium group. I shared option ideas on Friday for Fisker. And then I think it was Tuesday. Am I mistaken here? Yeah, something like that. Whatever it was, we made 800%. I talked about it on the last stream. So yeah, the bull case price target was pretty crazy. And I'm not saying crazy like it's impossible. Everybody knows how much I believe in Fisker, but it's just wild to see that right now he's thinking, it could already be in store for 90 before cars on the road and everything. Honestly, I don't know if I completely agree with $90 for Fisker, at least for like the next year. Do I think Fisker can be over $100 at some point in the next decade? Yeah, for sure. But I don't know about short term. I don't even know when his price target is for. Maybe it's just like eventually, but it's just, for most people, it's a wild price target. A lot of people, especially Lucid fans, are not happy with it. But the market caps are different, so it is what it is at the end of the day. I mean, very rough day today for Fisker, but overall in the week, it still is technically up a little bit. From a technical standpoint, it actually bounced off the 200-day moving average in the morning when it tested it, but then it eventually broke it. Just a lot of selling pressure. So now it did close under it, but it did fill a gap today. It is oversold on the 1 hour, or just about getting oversold on the 1 hour chart. You're back down to this same area that we were in January. So your closest support on Fisker is 1455, which was a steel wall of support in January. You did have a little bit of a fake out the last time you got down there, so we'll see. And then also resistance is probably now the 200-day moving average around $16.20. Apart from the technicals, my thoughts on the offering for short-term traders, which right now I am also looking at this as a short-term trade, hence the swing trade. Not good. I'm not exactly sure how this offering works, but as you can see by the price action, it's not good for the short term. Long term though, I think they were saying they wanted to use it for very specific projects. They're not just kind of wasting it or anything. So from a fundamental standpoint, I think this helps them out. Fisker financially did not do well the first time around when it was a private company. I really think now with the pretty much almost $1 billion they have in cash, the fact that they're not having crazy expenses for factories and car production, and also the fact that they are trying to save up for their new programs. They are giving up a little bit of ownership, I believe, to Magna for the production, but I really think that they're doing pretty well from a financial standpoint, and I think that for them, this was a smart move. For the actual company of Fisker, this was a smart move. For the stock, maybe it's not the best move for the short term, but it can help them succeed in the future, and that's what I care about more than anything for Fisker. So that's my thoughts on the offering. Trade's still around the entry. We'll see what happens from here. Just kind of sucks that it got so close to the target and then all that happened. So now let's talk about SOFI and Wish. We've been talking about SOFI on stream for weeks now, how it was looking really bullish down at this 1475 level. And I think Tuesday, the last night I streamed, I was talking about how it still looks bullish to me. And again, the chart still does if we look at it like this. But what I was saying on Tuesday is, again, earnings, right? It doesn't matter if a chart looks bullish or bearish or I was trying to think of another animal. I don't know if a chart looks birdish. I don't know. It doesn't matter what the chart looks like when you have earnings, right? The earnings are what's mattering, or what does matter. I don't know if I can speak right now, but And yeah, earnings can override technicals, obviously. That's pretty much what happened after hours. Came down to about $15.39. Let me put a little bit of a dash at that area. Pretty much closed after hours right at where this green line is. So, if it opens up around there tomorrow, which, maybe the pre-market is volatile, but 1475 will be your support. It was your lows on March 4th. It was your lows April 20th. It was kind of your low in the middle of May, and it was your low on July 27th. So that's your support. It all just comes down to 1475 and trying to continue to hold above that 15-ish area for SOFI. And then your resistance, there's not much resistance until 17, 18 bucks, which is why you came down to 15 and then you ran back up there, but then earnings came out and now you're back down here. So we'll see what happens tomorrow for SOFI. It definitely was interesting, I feel like right away when SOFI and also Wish didn't really do too well on the earnings, that's when Clover kind of dropped down a few percent after hours, but it did bounce up towards the end of the close. So it was pretty interesting. And then Wish, sheesh, this was a swing trade. It did get stopped out after hours, but the stop loss did help. The stop loss on Wish was $8.45. I think Wish went down to like $7.30 or something after hours. So assuming it did drop that much, which I think it did around that level, the stop loss actually saved you about like 10 to 13%. So yes, this trade did fail. It was a 13% loss, again, because the earnings were just horrible. But again, it was a 13% loss. If you did not have the stop loss that I gave out and you didn't manage your risk, then from the entry, let me see what it went down to after hours. Went down, it closed after hours at 752. So from the entry to the current price, you'd be down about 23% if you didn't have the stop. So again, this is why we always manage your risk. You can never always be right as a trader. If you're playing technicals and bad earnings happen, what do you think is going to happen, right? So I know there's a lot of people, not just from my trade idea from Wish, but there's probably dozens of other large people on FinTwit and have Discord groups, which has been one of the most crowded stocks for the past couple of months on social media, on Reddit. So I was going on Twitter this afternoon and everybody was just honestly emotional about Wish. There's a lot of people that really believe in this long term. I'm not too sure how I feel about this fundamentally. I was mainly just looking at it as a chart play, and that just kind of got overridden by the bad earnings. So my thoughts on Wish at this point, if we just clear up the chart, these are your levels. 750, that's your previous all-time low. That's the most important level on the chart. Okay, Wish pretty much closed right around that level after hours. You want to close above that again tomorrow. Okay. After that, you got 879 from your lows over here in July. Then you got 1067 from your highs over here in July. Then you got 1174 from your lows over here, a little bit of a resistance over here. And then after that, the steel wall of resistance at 15. As you can clearly see, over here was a pivot, over here was a pivot, and over here twice. So those are all your levels. And it just depends on what the price action is tomorrow, which unfortunately I don't know yet. So yeah, let me take a look at chat again. One more like to hit 50 likes. Viewers did drop a little bit after I finished talking about Clover, but I really do appreciate everybody, whether you're watching for Clover or just watching for all the other technicals. Appreciate all the support. Keep hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me see what I missed in the chat before I just finish up the ongoing trades, and then we might pull some takers from the chat in about 5-10 minutes. Don't drop any takers in the chat just yet. No, I know the price target's not for tomorrow. I know that, Cheddar Freeze on Fisker. So Mehdi says price targets are within 12 months. I did not know that. Coach B says, really like your stream layout. Thank you very much, Coach B. Hope you're doing well. I was watching your stream for a little bit with Ghost today. It was pretty good. Kale says, made a few thousand on AMC swing calls yesterday. Congratulations. Neutron Flux Lab says, Ayo, Champ is at it again. Doing that TA. Join the Discord. Best people around for retail trading. Cheddar Freeze, Mehdi, Braden, know what's up. Get inside. Yep, Discord link is in the chat right now if you want to join the Discord. Almost 2,000 members in there, so check it out. If you want an abundance of information and just help with trading. So, We only got 4 more tickers to finally wrap up the whole entire daily recap, just finishing off the ongoing trades. RES, still around the entry, still have classic bullish divergence on the daily. Not much of an update here. I just want to see it continue to close around 394 or above 394. Moving on, we got X. Flat day, not much of a change either. Still broke out of the handle of this cup and handle, which is 3 years long. There really isn't much resistance until the first target apart from $30. Hopefully you can break that if it tests it. And this trade's currently up 11% since the entry. BlackBerry, I think this trade's been out for like a month. It's done nothing. I mean, from a technical standpoint, this is a monster above $9.60, but the volume is just gone. There's just no volume, and it's just kind of consolidating now in a symmetrical triangle. So pretty neutral in the short term. I do think it still is bullish in the midterm as long as it holds above 960. No change on DOC today, but actually trying to get back into this upsloping channel, which is interesting. And then finally, QS was down 1%. You just want to stay above the low $21 area on QS, which was your triple bottom so far. I mean, I don't even know if this is going to turn into a quadruple bottom or what's going on here, but it's just in a range between 21 and 25 on QS, and that's really it. So I can breathe. Let's see how long that took me. It took me almost an hour to do the daily recap. Not too bad. I mean, this whole entire week has been taking longer to do the daily recap. So yeah, futures flat pretty much across the board, pretty flat. Bitcoin is back at 45k right now, which is nice, bouncing up, about to test the 200-day moving average again, it looks like. So we'll see what all that turns into, and that's your daily recap. Thank you for the 50 likes, really appreciate it. So I'm just gonna do take requests to close out the stream. Probably just do one round of take requests. So if you want me to take a look at something, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to all of them. It depends on how many takers are dropped in the chat right now. But like Trader Free says, if you want to give some context, that just helps me out when I'm taking a look at the chart. Let me know what you're also seeing, whether it's from a technical or a fundamental standpoint. Also, don't request anything that was up over 30% today. I'm a swing trader. I'm a reversal swing trader. I do not like tracing things. I'm not saying you can't. It's just not how I trade. And I obviously only want to speak about how I trade. Also, don't request anything that IPO within the last month. Unfortunately, I do need data on a chart to analyze the technicals on it, whether or not you can believe that. So yeah, probably 20-25 minutes. I'm just going to do take a request for all of you, tell you what I see in the charts. I'm not a financial advisor, just giving my opinions. I can be wrong. Technicals are not certainty, they are only probability. All right, so we got Dash in the chat first from Tim. Just a reminder, it's the final stream of the week. I think I will be going live this Sunday. I know I haven't done Sunday streams in like a month, but I think I'm gonna start them back up this Sunday. So yeah, 9 p.m. EST, Sunday to Thursday is the stream schedule. If you ever just need an alert every time I go live, again, I'm a broken record. Join the Discord and I'll ping you every single time I go live. Or if I'm not going live, I'll also let you know, so you don't have to just, you know, be refreshing your YouTube account at 9 p.m. every night in case I'm not going live. So yeah, let's type in these takers right here. All right, we're gonna start off with Dash. Didn't DoorDash have earnings today? 178.45. So it fell down, I think, about 5% after hours on earnings. I've not had time to look at the earnings report. So this green line is where it came down to close after hours. Maybe it could be argued you have a little bit of hidden bullish divergence, but the MACD might lose some steam in the morning if it gaps down. Not a lot of data on the chart. I would honestly kind of look at it like this. And that's pretty much a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's a textbook rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. And with the gap down tomorrow, it will be, I mean, I don't know if maybe it runs back up in the pre-market, but if it does open around where it closed after hours, you're going to be breaking this to the downside. And then your biggest support probably 163. That was your candle low on the IPO day. It was your resistance in the beginning or the middle of or the end of April. And then it was also your support for 3 days in July. So 163.3 is your strongest level as support. Resistance is 185.75. That was your resistance over here, and it's been your 3-day support until you broke it after hours on the earnings. Next up is Uber. So many lies on this chart. Let me just take all of that out of there. Maybe a little bit of a falling wedge over here. loosely. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. It is a textbook falling wedge, yeah. I don't know if we're gonna have any harmonics in this, but we can try and take a look. Maybe you could try and look at it like a butterfly. Let me see if there's any other better way to look at this. Maybe a shark is what? No, it's too deep, I think, for a shark. Yeah, too deep there. So regardless of that, anything else? You have classic bullish divergence developing on the daily for Uber, which is good. On the MACD and on the RSI, you made a higher low with a lower low on price. So yeah, classic bullish divergence, falling wedge. And then in terms of support, you got this $41 area, which used to be your highs February of last year. So as long as it can just hold above 41, looks pretty interesting. If it breaks it, I mean, there's a gap fill at 36 something. So, I mean, we'll see. Those are your levels on the Uber chart. All right. And then probably the biggest resistance to the upside is around 47. From this high, this low. And that's pretty much it on Uber. Now we got key to the US dollar from Medi. 1 hour hidden bullish divergence, breakout of supply line and back tested. So you're looking at this on the 1 hour. Yeah. You certainly do have 1 hour hidden bullish divergence on both oscillators. So that is there, and then yes, you did break a little bit of like a flag over here. So yeah, that could definitely be a short-term pivot. Anything apart from that? I think that's a little bit too shallow, but we'll see. Oh my gosh, it's a textbook bullish Gartley. Like literally textbook. 618 from X to B. Came up to a 0.53 at C, and then came down to the 786 retrace from X to D, but also close to the 1618 retrace from B to D. That's exactly where it bounced at too. So I don't know if you saw that, but you got that as well on the chart. We go over to the 4 hour and zoom out. Those are your historical levels. Probably the closest one is 1 cent. I think that's 1 cent. So yeah. FUTU looks like a bullish candle. On the daily says X-ray goggles. 1 hour bullish convergence. We'll take a look. Let's go over here. So on FUTU, you have a bullish hammer candle. That is correct. I've charted this. We already looked at this on stream not too long ago. You got some triple classic bullish divergence potentially. I mean, it's actually confirmed already. And then you also said 1 hour bullish convergence. No, that is not. No, you made a bullish convergence would be you make a higher low on price and a higher low on the MACD. So that would not be, unfortunately. You made a lower low on price and a lower low on the MACD. So not really any convergence or divergence as far as I know. I mean, I think I might be tired. Maybe I'm just completely off there, but I definitely know it's not bullish convergence, and I don't see any divergence out of that. So I don't know if there's another term for a lower low on both, but yeah. Just want to hold above $99 pretty much on FUTU. And then I think, did we look at, oh yeah, we did look at the 1 hour. Max says, ROKU on the 200 moving average on the daily, has used as a support before, but also not sure if it was a harmonic. Joe says, LOL, composite operator, don't want to mark up the price. That was a crazy Gartley. All right, so ROKU, so you're talking about yeah, it is right around the 200-day moving average. Delete this. Maybe you have a cipher. Let me try and take a look here. Yep, bullish cipher on the 4 hour chart. Probably shows up on the daily as well. Yeah. Bullish cipher at the 200-day moving average or ROKU. No divergence on the daily. Not much on the 4 hour. You are oversold on the 4-hour RSI though. Let me see if there's any important levels here. Kind of choppy in this area. So yeah, I mean, if you want a reversal, I mean, this is where you would want a reversal on Roku. You know, above this probably 355 area. And you could probably even, if we go over to the 1 hour, try and chart a supply line, and look at this. It could be poised tomorrow to test a breakout like right at the open. Depends on the pre-market, but if this breaks a supply line and there's volume in the morning, that could be interesting. It was just oversold during the day today. Try to bounce up a little bit into the close, and there's not a ton of resistance until 400. So yeah, I mean, for tomorrow could be really interesting, and then also just apart from tomorrow, the larger time frames can be really interesting. So I'll keep this on my watch list. Shout out to Max. All right, that was Roku. Almost 60 likes. If you didn't hit the like button already, this is now your time to hit the like button. So yeah, we might call it there. I mean, tomorrow's gonna be really interesting for Clover. We'll see what happens. Wall Street Bets also is the chatter on Clover has been really high the last 48 hours when I was looking at it. So we'll see. Good luck trading tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Most likely I'll be live on Sunday night at 9 p.m. EST to get ready for next week. Will not be live tomorrow as the market will be closing for the weekend. So yeah, Sunday night to Thursday night at 9 p.m. EST is the stream schedule. Not 100% sure I'll be live this Sunday, but we'll see. If you want to know for sure, just join the Discord. And I'll alert everybody if I'm going to be live or not. Also, you can always just turn on my channel notifications right next to the subscription box. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. It was a pretty good one. Nice way to close the week. Thank you for all the tips. See you in the Discord. Have a great night, and peace out.
I've gotta go now. Wanna fight